Hi, Chris Tarro from Siena Restaurants, and I'm Vice Chairman of the Rhode Island Hospitality Association. Part of my conversation more had to do with the tip wage. Do you want me to just do everything? I'm going to start because if anybody knows me, I'm Italian American, and I'm nervous, by the way, right now. I'm very passionate. I'm out in the hallway and I'm reading the things, and I go on the future. I go to other pro-business things, and I try to see what's out there. And I want to know when I became Wall Street. When did I become a hedge fund owner? When did I not become a working family? When did the restaurant owners, which I represent, stop being working families? In horrible thieves, sexual harassers, wage stealers, and people that don't care about their employees. That's a lot of the propaganda that I hear. And as somebody that sacrifices as much as anybody, I don't go to those parties. I don't see my kids. I work 80 hours a week, every week. Like all my coworkers, all my co-owners. It is slightly disheartening. The politicians love to get up in front of the news and say we got great restaurants in Rhode Island, and then when your back's turned, there are all those negative things. We're working families. We care. We care about everybody that might disagree with me. But today we have minimum wage. We have paid sick leave. We've got tip wage. Where does it end? How do I survive? I don't call and cut a house for $10 and go to work because life's that great. I'm a small business owner trying to do it. Me and my brother started this 12 years ago, and we created 140 good paying jobs. There is an impact to minimum wage. I don't pay anybody minimum wage. But every increase that goes and goes, people said, oh, up to $15, that's $5 more, not only for the person that was maybe making minimum wage, but the person making 13 now wants 18. I have a payroll of $3 million. If that went to 4.5, that's it. And you can say business owner, you have great. If we don't succeed, my house goes. I signed my house for a restaurant. Who here wants to invest in a restaurant? Raise your hands. But I had to sign my house for my kids, just like every other workers. But yet we're not given the same consideration because somehow we worked our ways up from being a dishwasher, a cook, whatever, to owning a restaurant, and now I'm a bad guy. You gotta be careful with minimum wage. I get it has to go up over time. But all those big states out west that have raised it to 15, it hasn't hit 15 yet, and we haven't seen the impact yet. So we can say Seattle did it, and I would argue, go to Seattle and go to Providence and you'll find a big difference in the class of spending, wealth, and every infrastructure. We're not Seattle. We're not even Worcester right now. If you go there, there's trains everywhere. There are none in Boston, Providence. Temper the growth. We don't pay anybody minimum wage. I've never fought minimum wage increases, but I would just say, go slow with it. The main thing, talking about in tip wage, is I just wanted to set a couple things. Is nobody that works in a restaurant, nobody is allowed to make less than minimum wage. Let me start. Nobody is allowed to make minimum wage in a restaurant, less than minimum wage. If you don't make minimum wage, say you worked 40 hours and didn't make enough in tips, or combined with the tip wage, to get the minimum wage, the payroll company, which somebody explained earlier, very simply makes it up. I don't even know what happens. Now in my restaurant last year, I had to pay $10. $10 in extra made up wage over the course of 3 restaurants and 74,000 tipped hours. So to say here that the tip wage is a problem, I'm going to argue it isn't for a couple reasons. One, it is the law. There are protections of the Rhode Island labor law that says if you don't make minimum wage and I don't pay you it, I get penalized. So as I would not penalize all politicians for the acts of bad ones, if there are bad restaurateurs, go after them. They're doing me a disservice. Another misconception is we steal from our tips. From our employees. We take their tips. We're not allowed to. There's the National Fair Labor Standard Act. It's there. If somebody does it, penalize them. Don't judge me by the bad actors. Because ironically is, by passing more laws, you think the people that weren't obeying them are going to pay more? If they were already breaking them, they want it. So, as far as the tipped hours, and I can talk about my restaurant is, my average tipped employee makes $19.58 an hour. $19.58. My average cook makes $14.45. So you are asking me to pay the people that make the most more. Now people might say, well, you're a Siena restaurant, you're busy, not every restaurant. So I took the Craigslist from today. These are the restaurants hired. Cafe Nuovo, Siena, I'm on Craigslist. 1149, a VO, Trio, Casa Hill, Waterman Grill, Arubia's, 99, Hemingway's, Gracie's, and Dunkin' Donuts, and that's from the first 3 pages. If there are bad actors out there, let's punish them. There's laws for it. And if somebody's that unhappy, there's a lot of great opportunities. If there's a server in another room that's unhappy, Siena is on here. I encourage you to apply in our RI jobs. So I just want to temper that we are out there trying to do the right thing too. But there is some misconceptions on the server tip wage. I can understand paid sick leave. I can't understand the tip wage. Every restaurant I've ever worked in, the people in the front of the house make way more than the dishwashers, cooks, and cleaning people. And they have to make minimum wage. So I've talked a lot. I'm very passionate about this. As a small business owner, if I had to go back 12 years ago, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It's 140 jobs that are averaging over $17 an hour, $18 an hour. I wouldn't do it. I'd say corporate America. When's enough for us? Any questions? I'm sorry, I talk a lot, passionate parents.